Hi, I'm Steve Shelburne, owner and operator of Shelburne RV here in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee. I didn't get as much video done last week as I wanted to. You know, the joys of owning your own business. The employees, love them to death, but you know, I had 3 out last week, so yeah, it's tough some days when you're trying to get all these projects done and the boys ain't here, and you know, it's just unfortunately it's the world we live in. So it is what it is. I got 1 out today, so you know, this is what happens. But I do have 3 basement airs this week. All 3 I have confirmed, so they've got those. One of them's down there. I just pulled him in there. We'll go down and look at that here in a few minutes. And then we're continuing on with the roof job that we've got up there because he was gone, so we didn't get a chance to get that one finished up. And then the floor job on that big Monoco, we'll be back into it because he was gone last week. So yeah, they've got quite a bit going on. We just got to get through it. And hopefully we're going to see some rain this week. It is terribly dry. You saw what I was doing with my dozer work, and it's just a stinking dust bowl right now, so pretty bad on that. But anyways, so we're back. Going to get rolling with what we got, so let's go up here and check out a few things. All right, so 6538 that came into the shop. We actually put a compressor in this a year ago, but it quit cooling. And so Mr. Lewis got to doing the diag on it and determined that compressor 2 only had 3 amps. So he got the looking and see the oil around the reversing valve. So evidently this thing has gone to leaking around the reversing valve. So he's got a new reversing valve built, and we're going to be putting this back in and testing it. Okay, so Mr. Lewis got the new reversing valve in this, and we test ran it. And there is a problem with the compressor. We got good amp draws, but no cooling effect. There's no temperature here. So evidently that compressor is damaged. So we actually keep some of these 6538s in stock. So we're just going to pull one out of our stock and get them put in there because it had 2 new compressors in that one, and all the stuff's good. So we're going to put one of our units in and then roll on. So that's the way that goes sometimes. I mean, we still had about 3.5 amps on there, and the compressor wasn't rattling. So, you know, just trying to take a chance and see what happened. But yeah, evidently that compressor, you know, when the Freon goes out and there's no oil going through them, that's what happens sometimes. But that's okay. We got what they need, and I'll just swap that one out when we have a moment. But tomorrow's basement air has already showed up, and Thursday's basement air has already showed up. So Mr. Lewis has got a lot on his plate. All right, Coachman Class A that came in. Yeah, a little bit of damage on that one. And then Friday, we had that one come in. Guess this gentleman had some water damage and tried to resolve this himself, and evidently it was more than he wanted to tackle. So it looks worse than what it is, but it won't be too bad. We get in there, we can resolve all this. All right, I had this little Grand Design Imagine come in, a little bumper pole. And I've known this customer. He's owned this thing since brand new. And look at this guy. I mean, he is working.
Oh, yeah.
All right, have you been working?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, okay. He's been working, is what he tells me. So anyways, this customer bought this Grand Design Imagine. And he said the brakes weren't never really the greatest, but so he's kind of gotten to the point. He pulls it about 3 times a year. And so he finally brought it in. It's like, hey, you know what? It's not really braking like I think it ought to. So Gary got under there and got the looking, and these OEM connectors for the brake wires, the front axle, they weren't even squashed. The wire was stuck in there, but they never got crimped. So he's going in there now and changing those out with some Wagos and get that fixed up, and then we'll retest that. But yeah, probably never had front brakes. That's all right, we got him fixed up. All right, Mr. Thomas has been working steadily on this, and you can see he has got the Avantech all the way back in here, and this thing is solid, solid, solid. Now, he's still cutting this piece right here, but yeah, what a difference. What a difference this has made.
Lost it.
Well, you never know what you catch on camera around here. So yeah, that customer, he was here doing some other we had a little quick job we had to do for him, and he just didn't gauge that corner good enough. And fortunately, I had that big dozer here. We were able to get him out of there, and it didn't do no damage to the camper. I mean, that was like, I was like, dude, you need to go buy a lottery ticket. It didn't even damage the camper. So, I mean, he got lucky because it was completely in that ditch. So, yeah, it's just the way it goes. But, yeah, there you go. The day in the life here at Shelburne RV. All right, the next basement area in here is in this big Vectra. Now, Mr. Lewis has done some testing on this, and the amp draws and all are good, but he's got a lot of condensation that was building up in here, and you can see this ductwork's blown out. I mean, it's real bad through here. And again, guys, we see this quite often on the Winnebagos. I'd say 80% of the coaches come through here, the ductwork's all blowed out, and you see that one there. So he had a lot of condensation built up in here. So now he's taking the lights out just to verify what's going on here, because there could be some issues here also. But yeah, this unit's running great. I mean, got good amp draws. It does have an older board in it, some older capacitors, and that's some stuff we're going to talk to the customer about. But good, you can see how much water's in that bucket right there. Great running unit, but ductwork can be a problem, guys. He's got all this opened up now, and you can see, we talked about this a minute ago. I don't know if you guys can see. It's going to be hard. Let me get my light up there. Okay, look where the two pieces are joined together right there. See how they come unloose? So basically, all that's just air conditioning in the back of this camper. So we got to get all that resolved. All right, so Mr. Thomas is pretty much done with this, getting this floor laid down. And this Avantech is just an amazing product. But yeah, he's got it all laid in here, just doing a little bit of touch-up work on it. And then it'll be ready for some LVP. All right, so Mr. Lewis has got this all taped up. There's a little bit of a nightmare right there, trying to reach up there and get all that. But he's got all this taped up, and we're actually in the testing stage now. See what kind of differential we've got up there in the cab. All right, so this unit's been running for just a little bit, 75 and 54, 21 degrees coming out the vent. So yeah, that one there is amazing what a little bit of ductwork will make them work correctly. Here's a 6537 that came in from Minnesota, was shipped out to us. Customer had stated that it wasn't working. Compressor 1 is locked up. Now look at this brazing job somebody did on this thing. But there's the problem right there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, see the reversing valve is leaking oil. But yeah, I mean, that's some rough welding right there. So we're gonna get a compressor in it, reversing valve assembly, and put a biflow valve in it, service it, and get it back out to them. Awesome.
Right when it hits that old floor.
Yep. So there's a piece of old flooring under there that they still have to deal with, but just making sure everything was clear and good. So yeah, we're in good shape here, heading in the right direction. Generator on this little Sunseeker right here, 4 kW generator. Now the customer brought this in, and he actually had been doing a bunch of work on it and tried putting a Chinese carburetor on it, and I can tell you guys, nothing but them OEM Cummins carbs work. So we put a carburetor on it. Well, come to find out, he had gotten in here and got to changing the spring settings on here. He had adjusted on all that, and come to find out, he even went in here and mechanically changed the governor. And so you can see where it was originally compared to where I was now. And so what we were having problems with was when we would run this to get it in our 60 hertz, we'd have to run the throttle, set the setting all the way down, but then when we put a load on it, it would not throttle up to cover the load. Well, what we came to find out was mechanically he had changed this. So once we solved this, got that spring back in the right position, got everything back and readjusted, now it runs on our load center without shutting down. And you can cycle the power on, the load center comes on, the governor maintains. When you let off, it doesn't rev up and cause it to have its code 14. So we're good now. So they've got it all test benched. They're going to reassemble this, put the cover on it, run it on the load test bench with it here on the test stand, and then we'll reinstall it back in the unit. So this Winnebago Adventure that came in the other day, we did a diag on it because the board wasn't working, and then we got to noticing that that's oil. So compressor 1 has got like 2 amps. So there's a problem. There's a problem there with that charge. So Mr. Lewis got them all fixed up. They actually decided to put a brand new unit in that, and Mr. Lewis got it in there and did all the testing, and he actually had 27 degrees differential on that one. So that one there was awesome. Right, so Mr. Lewis has got the compressor out of this one from Minnesota. Now that we can really look at this, but yeah, look at this, guys. Yeah, look at that. So when I was in welding school, that's what we used to call the Ray Charles School of Welding right there. So it ain't pretty. And it obviously didn't work because it's all leaked all the Freon out. So he's got a whole new reversing valve assembly and new compressor. We'll get it in and show you what we're doing. All right, so basement air number 4 for the week. This beautiful Adventure. This one here is really nice. Garage kept. Man, it looks awesome. Mr. Lewis got to doing the diag on it, and the ductwork had actually fell out. It was all loose. Now this is an old 6535 that somebody has been working on, and it had a bolt-on clamp here that somebody tightened the top down so tight that it cracked the top of the cap and all the Freon came out of it. So it's ruined that compressor. So we're going to the customer wanted to go. He didn't want to put a new unit in. He wanted to go low cost. So we're actually going to put a compressor in this one and then get him back in and test it. All right, so the big fusion is done. They had to put a slide floor in this room, slide floor in that room. And this unit actually got a roof also because it had storm damage. So let's grab the scissor lift and we'll jump up there. It also got a new awning arms and awning tube because that all got ripped off with the storm. But yeah, this is a 65 mil Carlisle TPO roof. And we did use Sika Flex for all the sealants. So the same sealant they use on all the Winnebagos. That's good stuff. It seems to last forever. So yep, all done. Getting ready to head out with that one. All right, another project here in the shop is this horse trailer. Now this horse trailer originally did not have a freshwater tank. And so the customer wanted to add a freshwater tank. And we've got plenty of room up underneath here. So that's what the boys are working on now. They've got the drain and the fill already set up in here. So they're just working now, getting everything plumbed in and ready. The Airstream, the 62, we put an axle in it, but it didn't have the brackets for the shocks on it. And so yesterday, so I got the shocks on it now. I had to cut the bracket off the old axle and weld it on there, and Cousin Gary got all that set up. And then the Boys and Girls Club of America, that trailer needed a jack, and the brakes needed to be readjusted. So they've got that done now. And then you saw where we were working on that generator, and we've got it all back and running correctly. So Mr. Gage is just doing the reinstall on it, and then we're gonna retest it in the coach. All right, next project here in the shop is this Heartland Prowler, and evidently he had this down at the big box store, and they did not get that bar sealed correctly. And so guess where all the water went? So we got this one tore apart. They're going to be putting it back together. It actually got the side. You can see how bowed the side of this is also. So it had a lot of water in there. So we're actually going to cut it right there and replace this whole piece and replace this whole piece and get this put back together. But yeah, gotta, just because they say they can seal it doesn't mean they did seal it. The next one here is this big Pioneer. Now this one had some water damage, and the customer actually tore into this himself, thinking that he could resolve this. And as you can see, there's quite a bit going on. So we did talk to him yesterday about this, and he said, well, all the pieces that are in the camper, just got to go through there and dig it all out. But yeah, this thing's a basket case. So yeah, there's more to that story. So yeah, he wants to turn that into his insurance company and get them to total the camper out. It's gonna be tough because typically they don't cover water damage. They always say it's a maintenance issue. So I don't know. This is gonna be a hard conversation. All right, so good morning. Biggest portion of the hurricane is pretty much on us, and it's been raining now for almost 24 hours. So I went through and did a little ditch cleaning yesterday and got some stuff up there. And we haven't had a lot of rain the last couple of months. So yeah, we've had about 9 inches of rain here. So just going through, making sure I didn't have no big gully washers or anything of that nature. It looks like most of my dirt work we did around back of the building is okay at the moment, because I kind of graded it a certain way so it would handle all the water. But yeah, definitely a very, very rainy Friday with that hurricane. All right, so it's all stripped down. You can see the mess that came out of there. There's what the back wall originally looked like. And then obviously plenty of water in the sidewall. So they're getting everything cleaned and prepped, and then we'll start working at replacing it. All right, this horse trailer, they've been working on this tank install. Let's take a look and see where they're at with this. I made them brackets for it yesterday, and they're actually doing a water field test right now. So they got everything pretty well under there. And then what Mr. Thomas did over here on this side is he did put a big low point drain on here so they can low point drain this thing. So sensor wires are in, so they're just doing a leak test at the moment, see where they're at. So the next project here in the shop is this one here had a blowout, so we're going to be changing out some J-wrap, and it got a little bit of the wiring. You can see that's the wiring for the jack right there. Kind of got into that. And then this one came in, and you can see what's going on with this door. Not quite sure what happened there, but the customer wanted to know if we could repair that door. Well, you can see that's all glued inside there, so it's all been pulled apart, and it's just going to be, there's no way to solve that other than replace that door. So we actually have a new door here, and we're going to be changing that out next. So the Coachman Class A came in with converter problems and generator issue, and of course this tropical storm we had come through here, we went to pull it in the shop, and look at all this water. Crazy. So called the customer, and I actually did a seal tech on this real fast to see where the water was coming from. You can see my seal tech machine sitting right there. And so we did a seal tech on it, and that corner of the windshield and this corner of the windshield, I mean, it was blowing air out of those so bad it was blowing the bubbles out. So he's gone in and resealed those, and we're going to retest here in a minute. All right, so Mr. Lewis just got finished up on that basement air that's going back to Minnesota. You saw what we did on that one, how cobbled up it was. So he's got a new compressor in it. Everything worked out on it. Actually had 22 degrees differential on the test bench. So that one there is on the pallet, ready to go back north. Well, as you can see, we had quite a bit going on this week. So the boys have got plenty of projects, and we survived the tropical depression. So a lot of rain. Fortunately, that chert out back didn't get washed away. That stuff packed in real nice, so very, very little on that. So I'm tickled with that because I really thought that 2 inches of powder I had back there was going to be gone. So we did pretty good on that. So yeah, the boys got plenty going this coming week. What have you been doing this week?
Let's see, refrigerator, furnaces, toilets, faucets.
So you did earn your keep.
Yeah.
Well, that's always a plus.
All right.
Of course, he's my right-hand man. He was just out there moving campers, so I know he's always working. I don't have to worry about him too much. So,
All right.
but thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all the comments from last week. Please like and subscribe. And remember, as always, this video is
Cousin Gary approved.
You guys have a great weekend. Thank you.